All right, we're here with Ira. Ira, you just got third place at the Justice Hunters case tournament at Picante.
That's correct.
All right, you got any shout outs?
Of course, gotta shout out the boys, Corey, Arturo, Mitchell, Cademan, who again had to go to work, so he wasn't at the tournament this time. But, Team Sleepy
won.
Time. You're right, he would have won. He'll tell you, too. And, of course, shout out Picante. That's the home store. It was just a good day.
All right.
So, I was playing the best deck. Tim Pie, of course. What else? Still plays, still works. So, the first part, more or less the same as it always was. Chandra, 2 of this. I was on 2 green as well, because I was like, it'll work. And then I was also on 3 Jinroku. I was like, the deck just needs ways to play, because every single deck I'm going to play against is significantly better than this one. And it's not really close when you look at Yummy and Vanquish Soul. And then with that logic, I was like, I'm even going to add that too.
Look how cute it is.
It was doing its thing. I was seeing this almost every hand, so that helps a lot.
That terraforming on...
I will say, though, one unfortunate thing is this deck has no way to play around K9 at all. This always triggers it, and this always triggers it, and there is just nothing you can do about it. So it just is what it is, but you'll just draw the out, which we'll get to later. And then, of course, I just loaded up on Hand Trap, so it was like 3 Ash. Also, shout out to this card. It stops all the Draco Tail traps. So, they just kept trying to negate the field spell, and I'm like, or not. That was just, enough. But they kind of just sit there. So this is not going anywhere. I thought this was going to be super lackluster, I'd be siding it out. Somehow, Ash just keeps finding ways to be more relevant than it used to be. And then I was on 3 Fuelas and 3 Perulia. Because I was just blinding second. There was no gimmicks. I was going second. Both side, still going second. So I was just like, we're going to try to max out on this. And with that logic, I then played 3 Niv. And some of the logic was that with this card is that, so I also play 3 Imperm. And that when you drop a Charmy, you're liable to get Paradise Smashed. And I was like, well, sometimes this will prevent it if they don't already have Ripper Up, and then even if they do have Ripper Up, just the classic Imperm Nib will get you there. I also just wanted something to draw off of the Charmies that would maybe do something. It never got summoned today. No one played into it. Everybody's 5th summon was Ripper. So kind of as expected, but it was worth a try. And then, of course, the other Hand Trap, then we also had the 1 mag. Also did not get summoned any, not particularly great this format. But it spells game if it resolves and I have a breaker with it. And then, of course, Field Spell, Kaiman, and Terraforming. This was also glued to my hand. I drew it all 3 games in the last round of the tournament. And I did not draw this, so that just helped. Nothing more to say on those. And then, of course, we were on 3 Regeki, which somehow overperformed. I even got to play it on my turn 0, so they would do K9 stuff or anything like that, and then I would just Regeki it away. And at that point, we were just good. We were just playing. And then I was also main decking the 3 Book of Eclipse. Namely, because this card is not particularly great into Vanquish Soul, but it becomes a lot better if you book everything first. Because the field spell can no longer protect, and then they also can't tag out. Also, if you eclipse them, the Vanquish Soul trap then blows up their own board too. So it no longer protects. So this was just, I think this card is going to be one of the best cards in the format. I think if your deck can play Canine, it's even more crazy because they'll ash this and then it turns your Canine stuff on. I think this will probably be somewhere in most of my decks going forward. And then the suite of one-ofs. So we have the Called By, which was very good when I hit the Draco Tail fusion. Pross, Talents, and then of course wouldn't be a deck of mine if these weren't somewhere. Lightning Storm Duster. And same thing, if you combine this with Regeki, you actually get somewhere against Vanquish Soul. So you kind of just have to high roll them, but that's what we came there to do.
Imagine not having the new QCR Lightning Storms. I didn't know you were poor.
Dang.
Show the Rolex.
And then on to the extra deck. It really hadn't changed much. Of course, the SP didn't get summoned. This card didn't get summoned. Got summoned. Not summoned. Not summoned. This was just there to do the classic, just crash this, get Jinroku, and try to cheese a win, but never came up. I was still on 2-2 because why not? I always did it. It always worked, and it didn't stop. So we just stuck with that. And then you no longer have to ask a friend, is the deck's bad? But it still works just as well as it used to. And then the utility spots. None of these got summoned. Yeah, and kind of makes sense. There was one spot where this might have come up for the pop, but honestly, it's pretty much all about Biden and the Transcendent Dragon.
All right.
And then for the side deck, I was on the 3 Lancia just because I wasn't sure if anyone would be bringing Malice. There is like a strangely large amount of people that like the Orcus deck around here. They don't ever bring it to tournaments, but they all have it. So I was like, why not? Was on 3 Droll. Only sided it in against the Art Magia Draco Tail deck, but this just hoses Art Magia because it searches like 1,000,000 times and then they just can't anymore. Was on the 2 Thrust. I just didn't draw it. I think it would have been fine. Like, card's good. 2 Droplet. I never sided it in on account of, once again, the decks are just so good. I was like, yeah, I can't discard anything. There's just no way I'm going to have enough resource to play this unless they play into a Charmy. Then, by far the best card in the side deck, one of the best cards in the deck in general, is I decided to side 3 Impulse. This was insane into everything. This went into Vanquish Soul. Normally I just took out the Fuwalas and put these in. And I was like, well, I don't care if they make me go first or second. We're chilling. Every deck kind of has pretty clear line where to drop this. I would say maybe other than Yummy, but like everything else, there's like a clear threat that's coming if you let it resolve. And so this is just a good way to deal with that. And then the last 2 is Rivalry and Gozen, because they beat everything that's meta other than Yummy, and I guess maybe Orcus, but again, no one brought that today. So it was, the deck did its thing. Still works. I mostly played it because I didn't have the Canine deck yet, but as you saw, I own it now. So I probably won't bring this for the rest of this format, but I thought it was a decent meta call for a start of the format. Given that breakers are just generically good in the Yummy, they're generically good when they're playing on your turn. Definitely no one's expecting to get Regeki'd on the opponent's turn 0. So just worked out. It was a good time. Stay tuned for more.
All right. What were your matchups?
Yeah, and the matchups actually was Vanquish Soul Canine, Art Magia, Draco Tail, and then basically Draco Tail featuring Dragoon Turbo, which he did manage to summon on my turn. That's kind of scary.
All right.
And then, yeah, just a good turnout.
Well, good job. We'll see you at the next one.
Yep. TCP timeout.
Peace.